I want to thank you for staying tuned for the HGP Sportscast. I'm Sean Embrock. And we want to tell you first up that the GFF to launch Women Football Development League to further advance women football in Guyana. We have the details in this story.
So because we're partners to FIFA, we're an affiliate. We adopt their strategy as well. And this is the first time that we are actively engaging women in a league, a national league.
Communications Officer, GFF, Deborah Francis, apprised HGP Sports of the objectives of the Female Developmental Inaugural League.
It is really intended to bring publicity to the sport, the women's football, because as you know, women would not have been actively engaged in football on a national level, except for the few times we would have had tournaments, festivals, and those are one-off, like weekend festivals. And in addition to that, we also wanted to have an increase in the number of women who play football, because in Guyana there are a number of women who are interested in football, but because they're not clubs, it's not quite established. It was the initiative of the EXCO, the executive committee, to ensure that there is a space, ensure that there are opportunities to facilitate the participation of women in football in Guyana. As you imagine,
the league will encompass all member associations of the GFF.
It involves all of the MAs. As you know, we have 9 MAs in Guyana, and so we would have categorized each of the MAs in groups. We have districts, in fact. We have District 1, District 2, District 3, and if I can just briefly tell you that District 1 comprises of Georgetown, West Demerara, Essequibo, and Bartica Regional Football Associations. Beautiful. And then we have District 2 would be Berbice, East Demerara, East Bank, and the Upper Demerara Football Associations. And District 3 would be Rupununi Regional Football Associations. And of course, these will be played on a weekend, just like the Under-17 tournament. We have a weekend schedule for them.
Francis took the opportunity to encourage females to get into sports, as there are much benefits to be derived.
You know what? It's important. I believe it has to be said. It's important that women see themselves in every aspect of the development of this country. Sport is one of them. Never take it for granted, and don't believe that this is a man's sport. There are women across the world who are actively engaged in football. Football, of course, contributes more than just to your health. It contributes to your social, your personal development. And this is an opportunity for you to join a club. There are clubs available in Guyana. We will expand as we develop the sport, the women arm of the sport. And so find out about a club near you, go to practice, get involved, and reap the benefits. That will be not only one-off, but will be lifelong, so that you can become a part of a sport that is beautiful and that is global as well.
The tournament will go for 2 rounds and is scheduled for a September 17th kickoff. Meanwhile, with support from FIFA, each member association will receive kits and cleats for their respective women's teams.
These gears consist of complete kits for both outfield players and goalkeepers, and it also has like shin guards and so on that will be needed to enable the girls, the women, to participate in the sport, and it really is geared towards enabling a maximum participation, because sometimes we take it for granted that some of the women have gears and sometimes they do not, and so it's important that a federation with FIFA support present those gears so that we can make the tournament possible, the Women's Development League.
Communications Officer, GFF, Deborah Francis. The kits were presented on Friday, September 2 at the GFF office. The kits will aid the team's preparation for the upcoming developmental meet. For HGP Sports, Sean Embrock. And moving on with the sportscast on this Friday evening, we tell you that in the Guyana Hockey Board Lucozade Indoor Hockey League, Bounty GCC couldn't overcome their players' deficit, as GCC Vintage defeated them in the men's quarterfinal. GCC Spartans resumed their dominance over Old Fort as both GCC teams advanced to their respective semifinals. We have Calvin Chapman with the details.
One of Marzana Feedcow's penalty corner goals. She scored a hat-trick as GCC Spartans steamrolled Old Fort 4-0 in the women's division. The game began on Tuesday, but a technical problem with the lights forced it to be resumed on Thursday. At halftime, the score was 2-0 and the Spartans simulated proceedings in the second half. Hgptv scored 1 to support the Feed Cows hat-trick. In the first men's semi-final, an 8-goal spree couldn't separate the two teams as the match tied 4-4 between Bounty GCC and GCC Vintage. The aged GCC Vintage side won the shootout 2-0 as Bounty GCC missed both their chances.
In basketball now, Ravens complete a clean sweep in the Georgetown Amateur Basketball Association's Turbo Energy Drink-sponsored King of the Hardcourt Basketball Tournament. Here is Calvin Chapman with the details.
Ravens dominated the tournament, which was intended to be contested across 3 different hard courts, namely Burnham, Plaisance Industry Community Center, and the National Gymnasium, with Plaisance playing host to the gymnasium leg due to unforeseen circumstances. In the Under-23 final, they edged pace setters 45-41 in a 4-point nail-biter. Nduku Horatio scored 9 points and Myrtlan Ward's 8 supported well for the win despite a game-high 21 points from Nathan Saul. In the senior division, it was another Ravens versus pace setters matchup. Ryan Stephanie 23 points and Dominic Vincent 11 points were enough as Ravens completed a 6-point, 63-57 win over a woeful pace setters outfit.
And that's all on our sportscast for this Friday. We want to thank you for staying tuned.